Thanks for tuning in to another video. And today I have the RingConn Gen 2. And first off, why would you buy this ring? What makes this different than the competition? It is the thinnest ring available, and it is the most narrow ring available. And this makes a big difference with comfort, especially if it's between the two fingers. Surprisingly, it is, like I said, very noticeable. It is also the lightest ring, and this ring has the biggest battery of any ring available right now, 10 to 12 days on a single charge, which is really amazing. I don't know how they fit everything in there, but they did. The RingConn Gen 2 is also the first smart ring to provide sleep apnea monitoring, not just detection, but monitoring with over 90% accuracy. And the people here are complaining about the snoring, I think, and loud snoring is a symptom of sleep apnea. So it might be something that you don't know you have, and the ring might tell you you have a problem. And it does all of this without a subscription. Now I'm going to go into the RingConn app just quickly here so I could show you the next feature. This is the app you need here, RingConn, and you can download this from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. And I will do a detailed review of the app towards the end of the video, so stay tuned. Now this is a little hidden, but that's okay because you're watching the video and you will know exactly where to go. So we got to open up the app, and then we have to go into the Me portion of the app, and then we got to go into Settings right here, and then Ring Settings, and find my ring. As soon as you get your ring, I would turn this feature on. So this will keep track of your location every 15 minutes. And then if you lose your ring, well, it's going to give you a nice map of where you are. And this gets right down to the street level, so you'll be able to find out where your ring was. And it'll also tell you the last time it had the data for the ring. Now, we could also go down here to search for the ring. Now, if you do this, it's searching for it, and this is basically like a hot and cold kind of thing. So if you're walking and you're getting closer to it, it'll say you're getting closer, and it'll tell you how far away you are from the ring. And then if you're walking the wrong way, it will say, kind of turn around, you missed it. And this actually works out pretty well. This, if you lost your ring in your house, you'd be able to find what room it is in, and then you'd hopefully be able to locate it. But if you need a little more help, let's hit this, hit location. So I dimmed the lights down a little bit just so you'd be able to see this feature on the video. But we're going to go ahead and hit ring light. And now you got that blue light that's lighting up there. And it is actually on kind of one side of the ring. So this is the worst case scenario. That's what it would look like. And you can see that's pretty visible. But if it was this way, then it's even more visible. Very easy to find. So that's a nice feature. And the app will get you close to the ring. And then you could light it up. And then hopefully you'd be able to see it. But again, turn that location feature on as soon as you get the ring. Just like all the competing rings, there is no screen on here. There is no speaker. There is no vibration haptic on here. And so you're not going to be able to hear it or make any noise when you're trying to find it. And all the information you get from the ring will be available in the app. Fortunately, the app is actually laid out very well and very easy to navigate. So I'll go into that a little more detail later. I want to thank RingConn for sending me this product, but there was no other compensation, and all the opinions in the video are mine alone. In this video, I will cover all the RingConn Gen 2 specs, the features, the fitness, the sleep tracking, and I will show you the RingConn app. Boy, I'm really hyping that app up. I will also show you how the RingConn compares to the competition. This won't be a comparison video, but I'll just show you how the specs compare. But wait, there's more. I will also give you information and advice on how to find the right ring size for you. I did find a few cons of the ring, and I will save that for the end of the video, but honestly, they're pretty minor. This actually is a great ring. But I'll go into all the details if you just stay with me. So where do we start? Let's talk about the design. So it is a titanium alloy, and the interior is made out of a medical-grade epoxy PVD coating. I don't know exactly what that is, but it was actually very comfortable. Let's talk about the differences between the RingConn 1 and the RingConn 2. So the RingConn 2 gets 24% thinner, 50% lighter, and surprisingly, 71% more battery life. And if you still have the RingConn Gen 1 fitting set, you could use that for the Gen 2. The ring is IP68 rated and waterproof to 100 meters. I only tested the IP68 rating, and it's still working. I did not test the 100 meters because I don't think I've ever been 100 meters in water. But go ahead and wash your hands with this. Take it to the shower, to the swimming, whatever you want to do. So one word of caution is that when your hands get wet, the ring gets a little slippery and it could slide off. So just be very careful if you're, washing your hands. It could go down the drain. But more importantly, if you're going swimming, in the beach or something like that, the ring could fall off and you may not even be aware of it because it's so darn light. And then the Find My Ring feature probably won't help you at all. So just be a little cautious. Now, another nice feature of the ring is that it's compatible with Apple and Android. The ring does come in 4 colors: Future Silver, Matte Black, Royal Gold. Then there's a special color, the Rose Gold, which I don't think is available all the time. So if you see it on the website and you like that color, I would recommend buying it because I think there is limited quantities on it. So I'm going to do a quick unbox here and you can see the available colors. So I don't know about you, but when I'm paying a good amount of money for a product, I like to get a nice presentation. I know everybody wants to use the least amount of cardboard and material and all that stuff for the environment, but I'm spending a lot of money on this product. I like to get a nice unbox. So RingConn does do a nice presentation here. This is the box that you get, and let me show you the inside. So we unbox it. We got the ring over here, and then we got our usual paperwork. Let's get that out of the way. And here is the case. This case actually has a built-in battery. More about that later, but you're going to get up to 150 days of charge on this, which is really amazing. Like I said, we'll talk about that more later. Then you also get a USB-C to USB-C cable here, and it's actually braided and really nice. But of course, you won't be using this too often. So, an important advantage of the RingConn is the battery life. And the battery life does depend a little bit on the size that you have. So if you have sizes 6 and 7, you're going to get up to 10 days of battery life. Sizes 8 to 11, you're going to get up to 11 days. And sizes 12 to 14, you're going to get up to 12 days. Now, I have a size 13, and I had this monitoring on every 5 minutes. I had the sleep apnea detection on every night, and I am consistently getting 10 days on this. So you might even get a little more if you turn off the sleep apnea testing. So let's talk about the RingConn Gen 2 case, which is actually another big bonus of the Ring. This case is a 500 milliamp hour battery, and it takes 120 minutes to fully charge, but you're going to be able to recharge the Ring 15 to 20 times. And so between the Ring and the charger, you're going to get up to 150 days of use. So that's over 5 months of use without ever charging the case, which is just amazing. It's made out of metal here, real nice design, feels very sturdy. The hinge feels really nice. You're also going to get a USB-C charger on the back here. There is no wireless charging, which I guess could be a minor con, but you're going to be charging this thing so infrequently, it's not an issue at all. And again, it is a good thing it's not a proprietary cable, because otherwise you would definitely lose it looking for the charger every 5 months. But again, USB-C on here, real nice, and we do have a LED light in the front here. The RingConn app does show you the percentage of your ring, but it does not show you the percentage of the case remaining. So it is nice that we got a little LED in the front here that gives you an idea of what's going on. So it's blinking white, that means the case is charging. If it's solid white like this, that means the case has a charge of 20 to 100%. If it is solid orange, then the case has power is less than 20%. If it's blinking blue, then the Ring is charging in there, and if it's solid blue, that means the Ring is fully charged. If it's blinking orange, then you have abnormal charging. If you missed that, I will leave it in the description, but also all that information is in the app, which is really nice. I'll show you that in just a moment. The case also does have a little silicone backing here, so this will not slide if it's on a table, which is a nice feature. The only other Ring charger that has a built-in battery is the Samsung, and this is the size of that here. So the RingConn is definitely a little bit bigger, but this is only going to charge the Ring 1.6 times. This is going to charge it 15 to 20 times, which, again, really big difference there. But another nice thing is when you put your Ring in here, as long as the bottom is right there and you just kind of lay it on, the magnets will take it the rest of the way. You don't have to line anything up or do anything hard. You just kind of get it close and the magnets will take it in. So that's a nice feature as well. So for some reason, if you just want to have a charging dock next to your nightstand plugged in all the time, RingConn does have that. You can go ahead and buy that separately. And again, there's no battery in there. You just got to keep it plugged in. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the other specs of the competition right now. I'm just going to go through this quickly, and I'll put all the details in the description if you want to look back on this later. I have the major competitors that I thought, and here is the price. The Amazfit Helio actually retailed at $299 on first release. Maybe it's not as popular now, and they did drop it down to $199, but that only comes in 3 sizes, so that may not even fit you. But again, that is the cheapest right now. Otherwise, the RingConn for $299. And you can see the Oura gets quite expensive depending on what material you pick. But also, Oura has a subscription of $5.99 a month. So that actually gets fairly expensive over time. And if you watch this channel at all, you know that I hate paying top dollar for the hardware and then having to pay a monthly subscription service forever. That's just ridiculous. If you want to get me on a subscription, then charge me $100 for the Ring. But don't give me top dollar on both. That just drives me crazy. So the Oura, I'm not even considering. So let me show you the thickness, width, and weight. So you can see the RingConn is the thinnest by quite a bit. It's actually 25% thinner than the competition, which makes a really big difference, especially if you're wearing the Ring between fingers, because you're getting the 25% reduction in thickness on both sides. So it's definitely noticeable. If that is an issue and it bothers you a lot, you can always put it on your index finger, then you only have the one finger to bother. And, on the index, you won't notice it as much. But if you're wearing it on any other finger, you're definitely going to notice that thinness between the other rings. The RingConn is actually the narrowest of the rings, which is really nice, and that makes it just look a little nicer, I think. The RingConn 2 is also the lightest ring. That's probably not a major factor because I don't think weight is going to sway you one way or the other, but it's nice that it is the lightest. The other big things to talk about is the battery life and the case. Only Samsung and RingConn have a case that has a built-in charger. But again, with the Samsung, you can only charge the ring 1.6 times, whereas the RingConn, you could do it 15 to 20 times, which is just amazing. And then if you look at the ring life here, most of them are about a week. The Amazfit Helio definitely is the least with 4 days, but the RingConn 2, 10 to 12 days. Again, really amazing. Okay, I'm going to go over the fitting set now, and I'm going to give you some tips that I found to help you find the ring that fits you the best. If you already know your ring size and you're sure of it, then go ahead and skip to the next chapter. I'm going to talk about the ring sensors and all that stuff. If you're not sure of your ring size, then stay tuned here, because ring companies do not use standard ring sizes. So I definitely recommend getting the fitting set. And RingConn has an added feature that if you're kind of close to what ring size you need, you could actually get a 3D printout of that. So that's probably most people are not going to be doing that. So get the fitting set, but it's nice that that option is available. Now, RingConn does recommend you wear the ring on your non-dominant index finger here. And that's because that's the best arterial flow. So that should give you the best results. But I wore it on all 3 fingers here and all over here, and there was no problem at all with any of the readings. So don't be too concerned about which finger you put it on, but just know that the RingConn does recommend the index finger. So let's look at the fitting set here. Okay, so let's take off the top, and this is what you're greeted with. And let's open this up. It's actually nice. You get little instructions here, and it does recommend you wear it for 24 hours. But then a nice added thing that other fitting sets don't always have is that they give you all the colors here, so you can see exactly what you're going to get, see if it's glossy, and see what it's going to look like, so you can decide exactly what color you want before you buy it, which is a nice feature. Then this is the fitting set here, several different sizes. RingConn does recommend wearing the ring for 24 hours, and that is because your finger size does change throughout the day without doing anything. But also, it will change depending on what temperature you're in. It will also change if you had a salty meal. It will also change if you gain weight or lose weight. So it's kind of critical for you to wear this for a little bit and just make sure you get the right size for you. And I'm just taking out one ring here. You can see you got the sensors that are sticking out just a little bit, so you get the exact idea of how the ring is going to feel, which is really nice. And how tight should it be? Well, it should be tight enough that it stays on. It doesn't slide off easily, but it shouldn't be too tight that it leaves a mark. If you are between sizes on a finger, like 10.5 or something, the companies usually recommend you go with the tighter one, just so the sensors are sitting against the skin real tight. But also, if you are in between sizes, again, it doesn't have to be your index finger. So try the other fingers, see if you find a size that actually fits really well. And then again, it's also a good idea that maybe if you have different sized fingers, you get the size that's in between those. So maybe it's a little tight on this one, but a little loose on this one. So if your finger does change throughout the day, you can kind of just move it to a different finger and still be very comfortable. Also keep in mind, you should try to put it on a finger that doesn't have a big knuckle. Sometimes it's a little harder to get a good fit on that. And just also another tip for the tightness. If you are looking at the ring here, you push up from the bottom, there should only be a little gap between the ring and your skin. If there's a big gap, then the sensor's not going to sit where they're supposed to. You could also try just making a fist and just looking for the gap. If there's a big gap there, then this is not a good size for you. Let's talk about the sensors here. The RingConn will detect your heart rate, your SpO2, your stress, your HRV, which is the time between consecutive heartbeats, your breathing rate, and your temperature. The heart rate you can set for every 30 minutes or every 5 minutes, and you can manually measure your heart rate and SpO2 at any time. And I'll show you how to do that in the app in just a moment. We'll also track your steps and your calories and track all your sleep stages. Again, I'll show you all the details on that you get in the app. It will also monitor you for sleep apnea with a greater than 90% accuracy. And in the past, you had to manually turn on the sleep apnea detection. But with the software update, you can just turn that on anytime, and then when you fall asleep, it will automatically start detecting for sleep apnea. It will check the SpO2 every 2 seconds and your heart rate every 2.5 minutes. I had that on every night, and I still got 10 days of battery life on this. It will also track women's cycles, which I didn't test. Also keep in mind the ring does not have any GPS, and the ring will use your phone's GPS. So if you do not have your phone with you, you will not get that data. To start a workout, you have to use the app. Again, I'll show you where to do that. And as of now, it only syncs with Google Fit. So let's talk about the workout data. So when you do a workout, it's going to show you a map of your path as long as you have your phone with you. I got to blur that out, obviously. But then this is the data you get. And you get a little more detail there. The biggest con of the ring is that the auto detect did not work for me. It is supposed to auto detect walking and running. And the other issue is that you can only track 4 workouts. And these are them right here. You got the running, the indoor running, cycling, and outdoor walking. And so if you're doing another exercise, you could just pick one of these, and it will detect your heart rate and calories and all that stuff, but it's not really maybe doing it as accurately as it could. And the other issue is you have to go into the app and turn this on. If you forget to do that, which I did several times, because I was testing a couple other watches and things like that, so I was turning all those on, and I forgot to go into the app here and turn it on. If you only have the ring, it's probably not that big of an issue that you remember to turn it on. Now, you can wear this for workouts, But I would be a little cautious using this with any steel bars and things like that because it probably will scratch then. But surprisingly, RingConn actually does make a little cover for it. And then it just fits over your ring and just gives you a little extra protection so it doesn't scratch, which is kind of a nice, thoughtful thing that they decided on. Another kind is not all the data is kept on your phone. It is encrypted, but it is processed by AWS servers, which is Amazon, located in the UK. So if you have any issues with that, I guess that could be a concern. And when you do your first sync of the day, it does take a few minutes to get all the data populated onto your screen. Now, let me just show you the app in detail here. Again, it's going to be the RingConn app. There's 5 sections of the app, but not all of them are all that useful. But let's go into Insights, which is the first one. And you can see here, I have the comprehensive sleep apnea risk here. And let me just show you what that looks like. So once you turn it on, it will keep data for 3 days, and then it will give you a comprehensive report. So based on my comprehensive assessment, it says it recommends to monitor me regularly. Okay, so I guess it found something that it didn't like. It says no abnormality detected, but I guess since I had something there, it wants to keep an eye on it. And then you could fill in notes here if you want. And that's the data you get. And it does give you a lot of information about what sleep apnea is and what it's measuring and all that kind of stuff. Now let me just show you the app here. So we have these 4 measurements here, and it will show you the recent 7-day average and today. And you can see how the comparison is. So if you're being more active or something like that, or you got less sleep, it will show you that graph. You can also click on this and just get a different layout. I haven't done anything today yet. So, my activity is like 0, but that's okay. And then if you scroll down here, this is the data you get. Sleep data, your activity, stress, your vital signs, your exercises, your sleep apnea, and then you can put some notes on there. Now you can edit this, just click on here, and you can turn things on and off if you don't want everything on there, if it feels like it's too busy or so, which I didn't. I mean, I thought the layout was really nice. But if you think there's too much stuff on there, you can get rid of them. And then you could also just kind of move them just by sliding them up and down. And then when you just hit save, that's saved, and there it is. Now we'll go into the sleep data here, just to give you a little more information. You get a sleep score every day, and you get actually a lot of data. So I'll just show you all that stuff. And I like actually this, the subjective sleep rating, where all my other watches and things like that, you get a little emoji you can pick, or, if you felt energized or rested or whatever. But it was kind of just very black and white. So this kind of just, you could slide this up and down and say, yeah, I kind of feel okay, or I am a little tired. And it's just an easier thing with the sliding scale. You could easily just feel how it is. It's not always like a 0 or 10 or a 10 out of 10. You could kind of be somewhere in between, which I thought was really easy to keep track of that. Now I got my total time here. Let's click on that, and it breaks it down even more. I get my stages, my heart rate, HRV, SpO2, the skin temperature, and my respiratory rate, which is a lot of information there. Then we go into more sleep data right here, and I could edit this if I want. So if my bedtime was a little off, I could change it. Or if my wake-up time was a little off from the Ring, which it's been kind of right on for me, but if you thought there was a little bit of a mistake, this is the original, and you can go ahead and edit it if you want. If you're keeping kind of long-term trends on this, you could edit that and put it more accurate if you're having issues with it. And we're going to get down into the graph here. This is the classic graph. You can see the deep sleep and the light sleep and the REM and the awake times right in there. And if you hit the sleep heart rate, you get a nice graph there. And you could also make this bigger if you click on that, but that's going to auto-rotate it, so I'm not doing it. And it shows you some movement here, your awake times, just all the details there. And this is, where the average should be. So it kind of just shows you how you compare to the others. This is your heart rate. You got a nice graph, the HRV. And it gives you some tips over the last 7 days, how you've been doing, how everything compares. Everything's normal there, skin temperature, respiratory rate. And then you can add a nap. It will record naps if you have them. And then again, just some more details over here. And let's get out of this. And this is the activity. We can click on here. Now you get your activity score there, obviously. Maybe I'll just go into yesterday so we have a little more information. So that's there. And again, it shows you your steps, your activity calories, which is nice because then it also gives you your all-day calories, which most watches actually don't give you and most rings don't give you. So it's nice that you get this information. Your standing time, that gives you your intensity, which shows you, vigorous or inactive. So this is the workout. This is where I was trying to do the auto detect. And again, I was walking for, several miles and it didn't auto detect. And I kind of forgot to check on it. But then I did check it and it didn't record anything. So towards the end of the workout, I just clicked on outdoor walking. And so I have some information there. Then you get the summary here. And you could also edit this. Same thing. You can get rid of some things and you can move some stuff around if you want. Then we got the vital signs. Let's click on that. And it also does give you this, which is, instead of just giving you raw data, it actually does give you some issue that maybe you should check into some things. So it gives significant outlier 0 and minor outlier 2 times. So let's click on it, and then it just gives you some information, which is more than other apps give you. So when this is the heart rate, again, I could do 5 minutes or 30 minutes, and then I could actually do a manual measurement right now if I wanted to. And the SpO2, I can't change the frequency. And it basically does this during sleep and when you're kind of not moving around a lot. And it will check it every half an hour. But if I want a measurement right now, I just go ahead and click that, which is nice. Here's my HRV, the skin temperature, and respiratory rate again. And let's click on stress. Now the stress gives you, I think, more useful information than most apps. Actually, let me just go into yesterday so we got a full data set here. So this gives me my stress. Obviously, you get a number, right? Normal, high, low, whatever. That's what most watches and apps give you. But if you look on here, it does break it out a little bit. So early morning, afternoon, it gives me my stress. And it will also give me how everything, I'll show you in a minute, it will give you how this is trending over the last week or month or year or whatever I want. It just gives you a little more information that actually might be actionable. If I'm noticing that my afternoon stress is much higher than everything else, then maybe I could research and see what's going on in the afternoon. That's driving me crazy, right? So it gives you a little more information. It breaks down the data a little bit more, so to make it a little more useful, honestly. Here's your stress ratio, the stress before sleep, which is nice. And this is it's a little more information here. And then again, you could edit this. So you could, if you don't want all that stuff, you can take them off. You could toggle them off, which is nice. So if it's too busy for you, again, toggle some things off, and then you could just move them around just by clicking here and just sliding it. So real easy to do. And this is the exercise I showed you, and the sleep apnea, I showed you that. And that's all in Insights, right? Now, if we go to plan, I didn't do this, but if you wanted to, the sleep improvement plan is coming, it says. But if you wanted to do this, you go into some questions, and it kind of just gives you some guidance as to what you should do. And I didn't get into that, but if you want to join the plan, you can. The AI, I think this is just sort of an early feature that really isn't worked up yet, because you can only ask a couple of questions, and it will just give you the answer to it, which you could readily find. But I think this is going to be a little more robust in the future. So I can't review that now, obviously, but that might be coming down in the future. Now, trends. This gives you a little more information than your standard app. So you could just click on sleep, right? So it shows you here how your sleep scores are doing over the week, which is nice. And then, of course, you can do the month and the year. I could just show you what's going on here. So you could just kind of see some sort of patterns of what's going on, and just gives you a little more information about, again, big picture stuff, which is more so what you should be using this for. So this is everything that you get there. And let's go into stress. This gives you a little bit of throughout the week what's going on. In early morning, how are you doing throughout the week? So yeah, again, this gives you a little more information that you would actually do something with, possibly. And I just went through this quick here. Activity, same thing, it's going to give you. Vital signs, same thing. You could just check and see how you're doing with everything. Okay, so now we're going into the Me portion of the app, which is where basically all your settings are. Up here, it gives you the charge of your ring and how much days are remaining, and to see if the ring is connected or not. Now you could share your information with someone if you want. And if you go to data management, you could connect to Google Fit. That's it. If you want to export your data and save it, you can do that as well. This might get more apps in the future, but right now it's just Google Fit. And settings, this is kind of where there's a lot of things that you could adjust. You got your goals that you could adjust here very easily. And widgets, I'll show you the widgets in just a moment. It just gives you an idea of how you're supposed to add the widgets. If you don't know how to add a widget on Android, I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But here's functional management. You could just turn these things on or off. And again, it says here for the auto detection, it's just walking and running. There might be more features coming in the future, but right now that's all there is. And I did have it turned on, but for some reason it didn't work for me. Notification settings, you want to turn these on or off, you can do that. And then general, here's some information about things that you might want to change. The appearance of the app, you follow the system settings. You could change your units over here. And then, the day of the week, and if you want a 24-hour clock or not. So the Ring settings app here, this is what you're going to get. But you would get this also if you went back to the Insights and clicked up here. You get right into that same menu. Now the Ring settings tool is just if you're going to disconnect this and you want to pair it to another watch or something, you can do that. Find my ring, I showed you that earlier. Ring airplane mode, if you want to turn it off because it'll Bluetooth, you can. The ring size, there's some information there. And you do get a user guide here, which actually gives you some information. I'll just show you this. Not too much, but a little bit. And then the LED color reference. This is where things I went over before. And you also get the information about the case LED to tell you about the charge and things like that. Now it does have the Gen 2 up here, and then it also has Gen 1 down here. So just make sure you're looking at the right one. It does give you some maintenance tips here. Just kind of the usual stuff. Safety information if you want to read that. And then there's some troubleshooting down here. Now I'm going to go back into the Me app here and back into settings. We got the account security, and then we have connection settings. I'm not really sure what this did, but I connected this and it's supposed to give you a better connection. You could play around with that. If you're having some issues, you could turn that on. I didn't really notice the difference, but it's an extra feature there. And it's supposed to improve the stability of the connection. Again, I had no issues with the connection with this on or off, so I'm not sure if it really did anything, but if you're having issues, you could maybe turn that on. Then you have a couple other things in the app here that I'm not going to get into, but basically that is the entire app. So one last thing before we wrap up the video, I want to show you the widgets. So if you're adding this to an Android phone, you just push and hold the screen here, and then we're going to go into widgets. And then I'm just going to search RingConn. There we go. And these are the widgets that you could add to your phone, which are really nice and informative. Easily you could see your data right very quickly just at a glance, and you could add more than one of these. But this is what's available. So kind of nice and laid out really nice, and the fonts and the colors are really nice. So very detailed information that you can get. So those widgets you can add at any point. So if you just want to add this one, you just click add, and there it is. Then I could resize it, if I want to make a different thing or something like that. And then if I just click it, it'll take me, to the app, and it'll take me to that stuff. So that's a real nice feature as well. And that is basically my review of the RingConn Gen 2. This is, honestly, like I said, a great ring. I think it beats the competition on almost everything. The price is a little cheaper than the competition. It's thinner, it's lighter, it's more narrow, it's a much better battery life. You get a case with a built-in battery, which is really nice. A couple of cons that I noticed that I already touched on is that the app does take a few minutes to sync when you do it for the first time in the day. So you have the sensors here on the ring, and they're supposed to be on the bottom of your finger, but the ring rotates kind of easily, especially if it's wet. And there was no mark or anything to know that the sensors are in the right spot. So I would have to usually kind of just take it off, look where the sensors are, and then put it back on. So it would have been nice if there was a little mark that I could just feel and move it in the right spot. But it didn't have any issue on the readings that I've noticed. So it may not be that big of an issue at all, but I just, like to have everything in the right spot. The other con is that the auto detect did not work for me. That could be a software update that's coming in the future, but as of now, it did not work for me. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful at all, please like and comment, and please subscribe. That would be wonderful. I have a lot of other videos coming out for watches and rings and comparison videos and things like that. So please click subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much.